Chief White House correspondent from our Washington newsroom, James Rosen. Good morning, James.
Sean, good morning to you. In advance of last night's speech, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre all but said outright that Americans wouldn't hear anything new in the president's remarks, and in substantive policy terms, that prediction proved accurate. The president left Washington shortly after the 17-minute speech wrapped up, flying to his home state of Delaware with First Lady Dr. Jill Biden a little later than planned, with the speech a late addition to the president's schedule. The only new elements in the president's remarks were some touching details about his interactions with the families of the victims in Uvalde and Buffalo. The chief executive also emphasized that his push for new gun ownership laws and for the revival of the so-called assault weapons ban law enacted in the Clinton era does not represent an assault on gun ownership itself.
I respect the culture and the tradition and the concerns of lawful gun owners. At the same time, the Second Amendment, like all other rights, is not absolute. It was Justice Scalia who wrote, and I quote, "Like most rights, the rights granted by the Second Amendment are not unlimited." Not unlimited. It never has been.
As the president gave his speech, the Democrat-controlled House Judiciary Committee slogged through a 10-hour session to approve, in strict party-line votes, a series of measures aimed at tightening gun ownership laws, including raising the minimum age for the purchase of selected semi-automatic firearms, like those used in the recent atrocities, from 18 to 21.
But, as we know, in order to get anything done in the Senate, we need a minimum of 10 Republican senators. I support the bipartisan efforts that include a small group of Democrats and Republican senators trying to find a way. But my God, the fact that the majority of the Senate Republicans don't want any of these proposals even to be debated or come up for a vote, I find unconscionable.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio, ranking member on the Judiciary Committee, tweeted just ahead of the president's speech, quote, "Democrats want to ensure that the government has the power to take your guns away without giving you due process." About 90 minutes from now, we expect to hear again from President Biden on the monthly jobs report for May. Forecasters, Sean, had predicted a gain of about 325,000 jobs. The report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, out just about a half hour ago, exceeded those expectations, coming in at 390,000, with the unemployment rate remaining unchanged at 3.6%, pretty low. Nonetheless, this would be, if this holds, and it isn't revised next month by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this gain of 390,000 jobs would represent the first time in a year where the economy failed to add 400,000 or more jobs. Sean.
Right. Economist Stephen Moore is going to break that down and more coming up later on this broadcast here. Chief White House correspondent James Rosen joining us live from Washington. James, thank you. We'll turn now to Tennessee Congressman Chuck Fleischmann for more on the president's remarks here as of last night. Good morning to you, Congressman. Thanks so much for coming on the program.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Just to rehash what the president has spoke about. Here's what he says that, quote, the country needs to do. He says a ban on assault weapons, and if you can't, then change the age limit to purchase them from 18 to 21. Ban high-capacity magazines, strengthen background checks, enact safe storage laws and red flag laws, and repeal gun manufacturers' immunity from liability. Where do you sit with this call from the president?
Well, I'm very disappointed. Again, President Biden cannot decide what our rights as Americans are. That's not the role of the executive branch. He's picking and choosing based on his left-wing ethos and his left-wing minions to basically try to take our Second Amendment rights away. I do not want Joe Biden or any radical liberal Democrat to be deciding our Second Amendment rights or any of our constitutional rights. Bottom line, he has left an open border where drugs, illegal weapons, illegal immigrants have poured into this country, gang problems, all kinds of criminals, but he looks the other way then. If it fits their agenda, they push it. If it doesn't, they don't. He's wrong on guns. He will lose this fight. We have got to protect the Second Amendment that our founding fathers gave us. There would not be a United States Constitution if there was not a Second Amendment. We have to remember that. Our founding fathers were right. Joe Biden is wrong.
The president says he needs 10 Republican senators to get this passed. Obviously, it's a split Senate. He's going to need 60 votes, so he would need 10 Republicans to get this done. With your obviously inside knowledge and a better understanding of the makeup of Congress right now, even behind closed doors, do you even see that happening?
I don't. I think our party is aligned, whether it's in the House or the Senate, to remember that our Second Amendment rights for law-abiding American citizens who want the right to own firearms and protect their Second Amendment rights is strong and clear. The American electorate will be strong and clear. This is an issue that is going to hurt Democrats. Bear this in mind. A bunch of moderate Democrats have reached out to beg Nancy Pelosi next week not to combine all of these radical left-wing proposals on guns. She's going to package this thing. They're going to have to vote on that. And guess what? They are going to lose in November.
Let me play this for you, and then I'll close out. Congressman Greg Steube of Florida talked about the bans and how this would impact gun owners, and him being a gun owner himself. Here was that exchange.
Here's a gun I carry every single day to protect myself, my family, my wife, my home. This is a XL 6-hour P365. Comes with a 15-round magazine. Here's a 7-round magazine, which would be less than what would be lawful under this bill if this bill were to become law. It doesn't fit. So this gun would be banned.
I hope the gun is not loaded.
I'm at my house. I can do whatever I want with my guns.
Before you respond, I'm watching a different cable news network this morning, a different morning show on MSNBC, and they attacked Steube to no end on that specific soundbite, saying that essentially calling him crazy for showcasing, obviously, his guns there. But the congressman made a point of, I'm in my own home. I can do what I want. The commentator saying, I hope that gun is not loaded. There seems to be this disconnect or not understanding about guns or gun safety. Your thoughts on this?
Well, this is the inherent danger of the radical left and their attack on the Second Amendment. When will it stop? You saw it right there. A law-abiding United States congressman in the privacy of his home with a legal weapon, and what do they want to do? They want to admonish him. We cannot have that in America, and we certainly don't want Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer determining the status of the Second Amendment. This has been a passion of theirs for years. They pick and choose throughout their agenda, and then when it really comes down to protecting our other fundamental constitutional rights, they will look the other way unless it fits in their radical left-wing agenda. So the American people, the American electorate have got to stand up and in November fix this. For right now, we need to be peaceful, vocal, loud, and say no to gun control in the United States of America.
Congressman Chuck Fleischmann of Tennessee, good to see you. And thanks so much for coming on the program. We appreciate that.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.